So I'm gonna do a battle between RCMA and Graftobian, and we'll see who wins. The only difference between these foundations is that RCMA dries to a powder form. So this is great for people with oily skin versus the Graftobian palette. It stays moist, if that's the right word. So they're oil-based foundation. So we're gonna go with an oil-based primer. I'm not sure that they sell this anymore. This is the Dr. Feelgood from Benefit. I've been trying to get my hands on the Graftobian primer, but they're sold out. This is what the RCMA palette looks like. The only thing with the RCMA powder as well is that you kind of have to like scoop it out of the palette. And you have to warm it up, whether it's on your hand, on another palette. You have to warm it up for it to kind of like activate. And as you can see, it is right there, ready to go. So I have to go a little bit darker on my forehead because I am tan. But it's alright. Okay, I'm gonna go in with a bronzer shade. And then I'm gonna go in with the concealer shade. Beautiful thing about these palettes is that they do work as concealers, foundation, contour, all in one. It's a beautiful thing. That is why a lot of makeup artists, a lot of famous makeup artists, they use these palettes. They don't use like, you know, something that you would get at Sephora. Although Sephora products are great, but there are so many other professional brands that as a professional makeup artist you should be using, because they're more pigment. Like this foundation, for example, is more pigment. I believe it's 50% pigment. So that's the type of products that you want to be using on your clients. It's looking really good. It's not separating on me, which is great, but that's because I used the correct primer. Okay, so my RCMA side is complete. Now I'm going to go in with Graftobian, and very similar. They're just very basic palettes, both brands. I find that with these foundations, they are best applied with a brush or your finger. You don't want to use a wet sponge with these brushes because, again, they are oil-based and oil and water are not friends. So keep that in mind. A lot of these primers too are water-based primers, and if you see that the makeup is separating, you know why. Usually what I like to do, just so I don't have a headache, I'm not a chemist, like I'm a makeup artist. Make your life easier. If a foundation, like Graftobian has their own primer, then get the primer that's dedicated for the foundation, period. I ain't got time to be reading a million different ingredients for a million different primers just to make it work. Like if the foundation I like it, it works, just get the primer. A lot of makeup artists don't even use primers. So I think definitely so far the RCMA side is more full coverage. Like I feel like I had to work a little bit more with this one, but we're gonna keep going. I'm gonna get my contour shade now. And so far on this side I haven't had to add powder, so I think it's true their claim of no powder needed. I think by now I would have definitely seen some creasing, something of that nature, and there's nothing. I'm pretty smooth. They both look pretty similar, I have to say. I will say though, I would definitely still set RCMA side because it's transferring to my hand, and it could be because I'm oily. They're pretty much the same color, so I think it really just is preference on what you're used to and stuff. I believe they're around the same price too. So yeah, let's finish the rest of the face. See how like the powders lay and such. I'll go in with my setting powder. So my skin is peeling a little bit from my tan, and I think you can definitely see it more on the Graftobian side, especially like right here and on my nose. So keep that in mind. You want to like really prep the skin if like your customer's face is peeling off like mine. Essentially there's not much you can really do if the skin is peeling off. All you can do is like super hydrate and moisturize as much as you can and really prime, set the primer and apply with like a light touch, patting motions into the skin. So I think the powder set actually really beautifully on top, and it's full coverage because you can barely see my beauty marks. Well, I don't have it on full coverage, but it's definitely, you can get full coverage with this foundation. I would say this is like a medium coverage. But yeah, which one's better? Ooh, I don't know. I feel like because of how my skin is right now, with it being a little turnt and burnt, I would say the RCMA, because I feel like I see more patchiness with the Graftobian than I do the RCMA, because my face is peeling right now. It could be that this side is peeling more than this side, I don't know, but I put Graftobian on my entire nose and the entire nose is a little patchy. So I would just keep that in mind, but for right now I would say RCMA wins for me right now because of how my skin is. But I have used Graftobian in the past before myself and it looks beautiful. I mean, it looks exactly the same on the other side. It's just my little patchiness because of my skin peeling. But Graftobian has a few different palettes and I believe they're like $84 each. Like this one is the warm undertone palette, then they have the cool undertone palette, then they have the neutral undertone palette, then they have like a color corrector palette, and they got little mini ones like this. They got blush palettes, which something I need to invest in with both brands because RCMA is literally the same thing. It's just a little bit of a different formula. You want to have different things for your clients because not everybody has the same skin type. So with that being said, and I believe this is around the same price as well, they have 2 of these big palettes, and actually no, I think they have 3 of these big palettes. Yeah, and I believe they're around the same price. And then they got the little guys as well for blush, I believe. But yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say on the matter. I will see y'all in my next video. Peace out.